When we think of democracy today, it often evokes admiration, even reverence. And it's no surprise. After all, democracy traces its roots back to ancient Athens, a civilization many regard as the birthplace of enlightened governance. The Parthenon, that iconic symbol of Athens, has come to represent the democratic ideal, attracting modern leaders eager to associate themselves with its legacy. But here's an unexpected twist. One of ancient Greece's greatest intellectual gifts to humanity, philosophy, was not entirely on board with democracy. In fact, Socrates, often regarded as the father of Greek philosophy, harbored deep concerns about the democratic process. In the dialogues of Plato, particularly in the Republic, we find Socrates voicing his skepticism through a powerful metaphor. Imagine, he says, that you're about to set sail on a treacherous voyage. Who would you trust to captain the ship? A random passenger, chosen by popular vote, or someone rigorously trained in the art of navigation? The answer is obvious. We'd choose the expert. Yet, Socrates observed, we don't apply the same logic when selecting leaders to steer the ship of state. We entrust leadership to anyone, without regard for their knowledge or preparation. For Socrates, voting wasn't just an instinct or a privilege. It was a skill, one that needed to be taught. Allowing people to vote without first educating them, he argued, was as reckless as handing over a ship to a clueless crew in the midst of a storm. Socrates' fears were not merely theoretical. He experienced the dangers of unchecked democracy firsthand. In 399 BCE, he was brought to trial on charges of corrupting the youth and disrespecting the gods. A jury of 500 Athenian citizens, ordinary people chosen by lot, deliberated over his fate. Despite a narrow margin, they sentenced him to death by poison. For thinkers and philosophers, this moment is as profound a tragedy as the crucifixion of Jesus is for Christians. A sobering reminder of how democracy, unchecked by wisdom, can falter. Yet, Socrates wasn't an elitist in the traditional sense. He didn't believe that only the wealthy or privileged should have the right to vote. Instead, he insisted that voters should engage in deep, rational thought before participating in governance. He envisioned a democracy built on wisdom, not birthright, a system where intellectual rigor preceded political power. Socrates' warnings about the perils of uneducated democracy resonate even more today. He foresaw the rise of what the Greeks called demagoguery, leaders who manipulate emotions and exploit our craving for simplicity over substance. Ancient Athens had its share of such figures, like Alcibiades, a charming yet reckless politician whose misguided ambitions led Athens to disastrous outcomes, including the ill-fated Sicilian expedition. Socrates' famous analogy captures this dynamic vividly. Imagine a public debate between two candidates. One, a skilled doctor offering bitter medicine for the public good, and the other, a sweet shop owner promising endless indulgence. The sweet shop owner would accuse the doctor of causing discomfort and denying people pleasure, while offering delightful feasts instead. The doctor, with their truthful but harsh message, would likely lose the crowd's favor. For Socrates, this represented the essence of democratic vulnerability. People too often choose the pleasing lie over the uncomfortable truth. Today, we celebrate democracy as an unequivocal good, forgetting Socrates' critical insight. It is only as effective as the education system that supports it. Without wisdom, democracy can become a tool for those who pander to desires, rather than guide us toward the difficult but necessary path of progress. And so, Socrates' cautionary tale remains relevant. In the absence of educated citizens, we risk electing too many sweet shop owners and far too few doctors.